Hello, good evening, student. Welcome our channel, the Physics Point. And in this lecture, we have started discussions of the new subject, that is the 10th standard mathematics part 1, that is algebra. In this lectures, we have started discussions of the new chapter. The name of our title of that chapter is Linear Equation in Two Variables. Before going deep to discussions of this chapter or solving some questions, problems, firstly know about the title. What are the title and the background meaning of that titles? What are the linear equation in two variables? In that, what is the equations? Equation, it is the combinations of mathematical operation. Mathematical has four operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. In a single line or in a single line representation numericals, in that numericals we are used all or multiple numbers of these mathematical operations. These are known as the equations. For example, 3 into 2 plus 2 minus 5. This is one of the equations. In that, multiplication, addition, subtraction, all different types of the mathematical or multi-mathematical operations are included. Then equations, what are the variables? The unknown values are represented with the help of some letters, some English letters. These are known as the variables. What is mean by variables? The unknown values are represented with the help of some letters. That is, these are the side 2x plus 5y plus 9z. X, y, and z are the variables. These are some letters. The unknown values are represented in the equation with the help of some letters. These letters is known as the variables. This is all about the informations of equation. Equation, it is the combinations of mathematical operation or mathematical process. Variables, it is the values or it is one of the letters which are represent some unknown value in that equations. Now let us discuss the linear equations. Before going to the discussions or understand what are the linear equations, just know or recall about one chapters we must be studied in the 9th standard. The name of that chapter is polynomials. Polynomials, that is one of the chapter, and in that chapter we are classified these polynomials in two different categories. One category is depends on the number of terms present in the equations or polynomials. If the number of single terms is present, 2x is only single terms. In between x and 2, any additions or subtractions are not proceed. That means these equations is monomials having the single term. What is the binomials? 5x plus 3 is the binomial equations. In the polynomial equations which having the two terms, this equation is known as the binomials. Bi means 2. And trinomials, 3x plus 5 plus 6x square. These are of the equations which having 1, 2 and 3 terms. That means the two different mathematical additions are included in the operations or in that equation. These equations is known as the trinomials which having the three different terms. The first class or the first category of the classifications of the polynomials with the help of number of terms present in that equation. If the single term is present in that equation, this equation is known as the monomials. If the two terms are present, this equation is known as binomials. If the three terms are present in a particular equations or particular polynomials, these are known as trinomials or also known as polynomials. Poly means many, nomials means terms. Now, the second category to classifications of that polynomial equations with the help of degree. What is the degree? We know that some in that equations we having some variables. Variables means unknown value represent with the letters. Variables mean unknown value represent with the letters. What are the degree? Consider one of the equation, that is 3x square plus 5x raised to 5 plus 9x. This is one of the equation. In that equations there are three different terms. That is, first is 3x square, second is 5x raised to 5, and third one is a 9x. In that particular equations, we have three different variables. That means letter is one, but variables values of variables is different. In the first, that is x square is one of the variables. Second is x raised to 5, and third one is x. These are some variables. The constant number attached to that variables is known as coefficient. 3, 5 and 9 are the coefficients of the x square, x raised to 5 and x variables respectively. That means coefficient of x square is 3, coefficient of x raised to 5 is 5, and coefficient of variable x is 9. Then what is the degree? Definition and meaning of the degree. The highest power or highest indices of the variables in a single or in a whole equation is called as the degree. Degree, that is the highest power of the variables, not the constant number or not the coefficient. These equations is represent like this, that is 3x square plus 5x raised to 5 plus 3 square x. Okay, I will say about the definition of degree. The highest power of the variables, not constant. Constant चा power किती असला तरी काही effect होत नाहीये for calculating or understanding the degree. Degree is the highest power of the variable. We have three variables or a single variables with the different types of the indices or different value of their indices. In the first, they have variable x having the indices 2. In second term, variable is x having the indices 5. In the third term, variable is x which having the indices 1. This whole is a single equation. In that equation, the highest power of the variables, that means the 2, 5 and 1 are some power of that variables. In whole at that, the 5 is a larger number. That means the degree of these equations is a 5. Can you understand? The degree is the highest power of a variable, not a coefficient or not a constant number. I will represent on another equations which is must be recalled in the polynomials. That is 3mn plus 5m square n plus 6mn cube. This is a single equations which having the different terms. Then let's calculate or identify the degree or calculate the degree or identify the power of that variables or indices of the variables. In the which having these equations which having the two variables man, two different or two unknown values which represent the two different letters m and n. These are two different letters which having the two different variables. In the first term, the power or indices of the m is 1 and also n is 1. M indices of m is 1, indices of n is also 1. In the second, indices of the m is 2 and indices of the n is 1. In the third term, indices of m is 1 and n is 3. Then how we calculated the degrees of that equations? Because in that equations variables are multiple variables or two variables. Then we just add when these variables are product to each other, not the additions. If the m and n are multiplied to each other, then their indices are added to each other. In the first term, m and n both variables are multiple to each other. That means their indices are add on. In the first term, the degree or in the first term, the indices or whole indices of the variable is 2 because m has 1, n has also 1. In the second term, m and n are in product. That means adding their power, 2 plus 1 is 3 and this is 3 plus 1 is 4. These are the indices of that variables 4, 3 and 2. In that 4 is the highest value. That means degree of this equation is 3. When the single variable terms or single variable equation, then we easily calculated the degree of that equation. And in the double variable terms, we just are adding their powers if the values or if the variables are in the product or in the multiple. Now This second part of the classification of polynomials are depends on the degree. This equation is a second degree, first degree, and third degree. That means degree is a 3. That means these are third degree equations. For example, one of the equation that is 3x plus 9. This is the equation which having the various single variable. These variables is a x, and the indices of these variables is a 1. That means the degree of that equation is 1. If the equation has a single degree or 1 degree equation, this equation is known as linear equations. What are the linear equations? The equations have degrees of 1, or in the equation which having the degree is 1, this equation is known as the linear equation. The equation in which degree or highest power of the variables is 1, that means this equation is a linear equation. And second classification, 3a square plus 5a plus 9. This is one of the equations which having the multiple terms. In that equation, just calculate the degree. Degree means the highest variable or highest indices of the variable. Variable is x, which are present in 2 terms only, not a third terms. That is degree of the or the highest power of the first term variable is 2. Highest power of the second term variable 1. That means power of variable is second term is 1, power of variable in first term is 2. That means 2 is a larger number, and the degree of that equation is 2, and this equation is known as quadratic equations. These all terms or these all classifications or these all concept will be discussed in the 9th standard, but just revise and just know what are the title of our chapter, linear equation. If the degree is 3, that means this equation is known as the cubic equations. Now we are dealing with the linear equations which having the degree is 1, and we know that linear equations is also known. Variable is also understand what are the meaning of that variables, what are the meaning of equations, what are the meaning of linear equation. Equation is the combinations of mathematical operation. Variable, it is a represent unknown value with the help of some letters in that equation. And linear equation, it is one of the equations which having the degree is 1. Then now going with the linear equation in a 2 variable. Linear equation in 2 variables. And now completely understand the meaning of that chapter. When we understand the proper meaning of the chapter, then we would be complete the 30% knowledge or 30% study of that chapters. The first is, what are the linear equation in 2 variable? We know that linear equation is having the degree 1, and variable is the unknown values we represent with the letters. These unknown values are taken twice or 2 different values. That means 2x plus 5y equal to 9. This is the linear equation in 2 variable. What is meant by 2 variables? X and y are 2 different or 2 unknown values which are represented in 2 different letters, which are represented with 2 different letters. These are known as 2 variables. And now calculating the power or identify the powers of that variable. In the first term, x is variables which having the power 1. In the second term, y is the variable which having the power 1. In third terms, we does not have any variable. That means just lost the 1. Then that means the degree of that equation is 1. This equation is linear equation in 2 variables. In whole chapter, we are studying like this, like examples or solving example like this, which is seen in that particular portions of the board or corner of the board, and these equations are solved in that lectures. These equations are taken from the practice set 1.1, and the all equations are some different process to solving that equations. Okay, just identify what types of the equations are included in linear equation in 2 variable. For example, 2 upon x plus 9 y square plus 6x equal to 0. This equation is linear equation in two variable. Identify if s, ys, if no, y no. Just when we are dealing with the linear equations, we know that the power or degree of that equation is 1. Degree means the power of variables. If the power of variables is 1, that means these equations are maybe in linear equations. Then calculate the another terms. In that equations, the power of x is 1, but these values in denominator. When they are going in the numerator, the values or the power of x is a -1. The -1 is not a 1, that means these equations are not a linear equation in two variable. Doesn't going into second term. If the first term is not satisfied the condition, that means these equations are not a linear equation in two variable. Second one, 2x plus 5y minus 2x equal to minus 5y. Consider this one of the equations and let us calculate these equations are linear equation in two variable. Yes or no? 2x gets cancelled. That means 5y plus 5y equal to minus 5y. This minus 5y comes to opposite sides of equality sign. Change their sign, that is 5y plus 5y equal to 0, that is 10y equal to 0. That means in these equations, when the modified, these more larger equations are modified in that terms, this is the equation, this must be equal to that equation. In these equations doesn't have two variable. This equation is linear equation because the power or indices of the variable is 1, but which does not have two variables. That means these equations are not a linear equation in two variable. 3x minus 5y plus 3 by y equal to 0. This equation is linear equation or not? Just identify. These have the two variables. That means 30% possibility these equations is linear equation in two variable. In the first term, degree or the power of the variable is 1. In the second term, power of the variable is also 1. In the third term, power of the variables is 1, but these variables are present in denominator. And this variable is going to numerator, which convert them +1 into the -1. -1 is not a 1. That means this equation is not a linear equation in variable. But how would we solve? If the equation is a linear equation, then we solve the linear equation in two variables. In the solutions, they have some types or some methods. In the first method, we using the substitution method, and I will be solve all these three equations with the help of some substitution method. In the substitution method, we are adding or subtracting these two different equations. After the adding and subtracting, one variables are cancelled out. Then automatically we get the proper value of second variable, and the value of second variable is substitute any favorable equation and get the values of both variables. Solutions of linear equation in two variables, that means we find the unknown values of variables, then we got a marks. What are the exactly target to solving that equation? That means we must find the values of these variables or letters which are present in the equations. For solving of these equations, we have four methods. In the first method, substitution method, I will tell and solve also these equations of same method. Second one is graphical method. In the graphical method, we are draws graphs, plot some points, draw the lines of passing through that points. If the two points are intersected, that means two equations having the two different lines, and these two different lines are intersected at a particular point, that means these points are lies in both equations, or the coordinate of that points are satisfying both equations. In that process, we are substituting or putting the value of x and automatically calculated the value of y, or assuming the value of x. In the third method, solving the Cramer's rule on the determinant method. It is a very interesting and easy part of that equations. which can get easily we can get easily marks after the solving of the linear equation in Cramer's rule by the Cramer's rule. And last one is the reducible form of that equations. If the equations are given, but these given equations are not a linear equation, firstly convert these non-linear equation in the linear equation, then solve, or then find the values of these variables with the help of substitution method. Without wasting the time, let's solve these equations with the help of substitution method. These problems are taken by these example or problems taken by the practice set 1.1. The first one, that is 3a plus 5b equal to 26, and second equation, this is known as equation number 1. In the second equation, a plus 5b equal to 22. This is the equation number. Just to find or just cross check the coefficient of similar variables. They have two variables in the first equation, second equation is also have two variables, but the coefficients are maybe different or maybe same. Then if the variables are same with the same sign, then subtract both equations. For example, in the Marathi, जर दोन इक्वेशन्स मध्ये दोन व्हेरिएबल्सचे कोएफिशिएंट सेम असतील आणि त्यांचा साइन पण सेम असतील, तर दोन इक्वेशन लार्जर इक्वेशन मधून स्मॉलर इक्वेशन डायरेक्टली सबट्रॅक्ट करायचं. त्याने आपल्याला काय होतं, एक इक्वेशन्स भेटून जाते किंवा एक व्हेरिएबलची व्हॅल्यू डायरेक्टली भेटते. नाउ just identified or cross checking the coefficient of similar variable. In the first equation, variable a having the coefficient is 3. In the second equation, variable is a having the coefficient is 1. That means that doesn't have same coefficient. In the second variable b, in the first equation, variable b in the first equation having the coefficient 5 or plus 5, and in the second equation, variable b having the same coefficient is plus 5. That means subtract the equation 2 from equation 1. Subtract equation 2 or equation second from equation first. First one second equation क्या करेगा? Subtract. That means 3a plus 5b equal to 26 minus a plus 5b equal to 22. Let us subtract. 3a minus a is 2a, minus into plus minus 5b plus 5b minus 5 gets cancelled. 26 minus 22 is a 4. 26 minus 22 is a 4. Then 2a equal to 4. These two is going opposite sides of the equality sign. They change their process or oppose the process. Multiply with the a when going to opposite side. Divide with the 4. Then value of a equal to 2. We get the value of one variable. Then these values is put any variable equations. That means substitute, put a equal to 2 in the equation 1 or in the equation 2, a equal to in equation second. What is the second equations? This is the a plus 5b equal to 22. The value of a is 2. 2 plus 5b equal to 22. This 2 is a plus to left hand side. When they go in the right hand side, change their sign, that is subtract. 22 minus 2, then 5b equal to 22 minus 2 is a 20. B, 5 is a multiply with the b. When they moving opposite sides of equality sign, they change or oppose the process. That is 20 upon 5, b equal to 4. Then these equations are solved with the help of substitution method. The process or operations, that means we must be cancel any one variables after the adding, subtracting any conditions. if the both equations having the different, the both equations having variable is different or sign different, that means the both equations coefficient is similar but in different opposite sign, that means one is plus another is minus, add each other, plus minus are cancel out. Then problem number second, the first 99x plus 101y equal to 499. This is the equation number 1. Second, the 101x plus 99y equal to 501. What is happen or what can we do to solve these equations? When we carefully observe these equations, in these two equations, the coefficient of x in the first equation is equal to the coefficient of y in the second equation. Okay, the coefficient of x in the first equation is equal to the coefficient of y in the second equation. In the second term, the coefficient of y in the first equation as must be equal to the coefficient of x in the second equations. That means in that conditions we are known about one times add and one times subtract these two equations. One times add both equation and one times subtract both equations. दोन प्रोसेस करायचा, पहिल्यांदा एकदा दोन इक्वेशनचं एडिशन, त्यानंतर दोन इक्वेशनचं सबट्रॅक्शन करायचा. Add both equation, that is directly add equation 1 and equation 2. What happens? 99x plus 101y equal to 499. Then 101x plus 99y equal to 501. Add these all equations. 99 plus 101. 99 plus 101 is 200x plus 101y plus 99y, that is also 200y, equal to 499 plus 501, that is equal to 1000. Then these all coefficient 200, 200 and thousands are divided by single value. कुठल्या तरी एका value ने divide होतं. That means divide by 200. Divide by 200. That means x plus y equal to 5. This is the equation number 3. When the variables or coefficient of first variable in the first equation, coefficient of x is equal to the coefficient of y in the second equation, coefficient of y in first equation is equal to the coefficient of x in the second equation. That means coefficients of the variables are altered to each other. Then at that time we are also one time add the both equations and one time subtract of both equations. Then we get two different equations. When adding to each other, we get third equation, x plus y equal to 5. Now subtract the equation second from equation 1 or subtract equation 1 from equation 2, any process. Subtract equation 1 from equation second. These equations are subtracted from the second equation. What is the second equation? 101x plus 99y equal to 501 minus 99x plus 101y equal to 499. This is the equation second and this is the equation first. Subtract each other. 101 minus 99 is a 2x. Minus into plus minus. If the 99 plus 99 minus 101. In the two constant number which having the different sign, subtract to each other. Subtract larger from smaller and give the symbol of larger number. Larger number is 101. Subtract the 99 smaller number from the larger number. That means subtract the 99 from the 101. Get the symbol of larger number. That means minus 2y equal to 501 minus 499, that is the 2. Subtract or divide this whole equation by 2, we get x minus y equal to 1. This is the equation number 4. After the adding and subtracting, one times adding and one time subtraction of these equations which having the alter their variables, coefficient of that variables, then first time adding we get the third equation, subtracting we get the fourth equation. When carefully observe these equations, in that equation number 3 and equation number 4, these equations are simplified. This is the larger number coefficient equation or high coefficient equation, but when adding and subtraction we get the lower coefficient equation. In that we must be add equation 3 and equation 4. Why adding? Because when we carefully observe the coefficients of each and every variables, coefficient of x in the equation number 4 and coefficient of x in the equation number 3 are same, but also in the same symbol. Coefficient of y and coefficient of y in the third and fourth symbols are, the third and fourth equations are also same, but signs are opposite. If the sign are opposite, coefficient are equal, add the equation. If the sign is same, coefficient is same, subtract the equations. Please remind it. Then add equation 3 and equation 4. What we get? That is x plus y equal to 5 and x minus y equal to 1. The variables or the coefficient of first variable x is 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 is 2x. Then plus minus gets cancel. 5 plus 1 is 6. 2x equal to 6. That means this 2 goes to opposite and oppose with sign side of the equality sign. The operation is must be oppose. X equal to 3. Then x equal to 3, we get the value of first variable, and these variables are substituted in the easy equations. Put x equal to 3 in equation 3. First, what is the equation 3? X plus y equal to 5. The value of x is 3. 3 plus y equal to 5. That means y equal to 2. This is the equation number second, or must be solved. And last one, this is must be one of the easy question. If the coefficient of the variables are altered in the two equation, that means one times add of that equation, one time subtract. When adding and subtracting, we get new equations, and these new equations are again adding or subtracting. Then find the values of the variables. Now, equation number third. In the third equation, 1 upon 3x plus y equal to 10 by 3. This is the equation number 1. And in the second equation, 2x plus 1 upon 4y equal to 11 upon 4. What we can do in that equation to solving properly, or like this. These equations are the linear equations, but in the coefficient of the variable are also in the constant number. They are in the irrational number or rational numbers. Irrational numbers, or these values are under the division. To cancel these 3, 1 by 3 or 3 from the equation 1 and cancel the 1 by 4 from the equation 2, what we can be doing? That means multiply this opposite number. Multiply 3 to equation 1 and 4 to equation second. Multiply 3 to the equation 1, multiply 4 to the equation second. What we get? 3 into 1 by 3x plus y equal to 10 by 3. Then we get x plus 3y equal to 10. This is the equation number third. And when the multiplying 4 to the equation second, we get 8x plus y. This 1 upon y and 4. 1 upon 4 and 4 are cancelled out. That is equal to 11. This is the equation number 4. Now, what we can be doing? Multiply the equation number second, equation number 4th by 3. Again, multiply equation 4 by 3, because when we multiply the equation number second by 3, that means we get a 3y. 24x plus 3y equal to 33. Then 3y having the similar variable and similar coefficient. Then we can cancel out 24x plus 3y equal to 33. This is the equation number 5. Now, the equation number 3rd is subtract from the equation number 5, because 3y are cancelled out. Subtract the equation number 3rd from equation 5th. The equation 5th is 24x plus 3y equal to 33 minus x plus 3y equal to 10. Now 24 minus 1 or 24x minus 1x is 23x. 3y cancel because this is the minus, plus minus are cancel. 33 minus 10 is also 23. That means 23x equal to 23, x equal to 1. The next process must be homework. Put the value of x equal to 1 in the equation number any, 3 or 4, then calculate the value of y. Put the equation x equal to 1 in the equation number 3. 1 plus 3y equal to 10. This one is coming opposite side of equation, equality sign. 10 minus 1, 9. 3y equal to 9. Y equal to 9 upon 3. Then y equal to 3. In the next lectures, we are trying to solve the all possible equations from the practice set 1.1. Then going to the determinant method, because the graphical methods are not possible to solve, or these are not easy. Sorry, these are not hard or difficult to the understand. We want to give the lectures on that concept which having the difficult to understand. Thank you.